What is up? What is up, people? Hang on, let me switch this. Let's do it like this here.
All right.
Looks like All right, we got it. What is up, Kevin? How you doing? Anyways, thanks for tuning in, everybody. This is the Matt Raymond Show. I'm here today with Mr. Joe Bees. He's a Bills fan and a podcaster himself. But before we get into all that, big shout out to Quick Trip, sponsoring the show. Head on over to Quick Trip. Tell them Matt sent you. They won't know who you're talking about, but just do it anyways. All right, here we go. We got the Packers have a really big game coming up this Sunday, and the Packers season isn't going according to plan. And now they're going against what I think is the best team in the NFL. But I'm still a little bit hopeful. But first of all, before we get into all that, let's talk about your Bills. They're having a good year. How are you feeling about the Bills leading up to this? Probably past this week,
Well, obviously we haven't seen much success in the last couple decades. So the hype that's going on. Oh, thank you, Mark. Appreciate that. The hype that's going on kind of seems a little bit as if they've been crowned already without actually having won anything. So, I mean, it's a long season. You never know what could happen. They were hit the injury bug early, so I'm hoping that was something that they got out of the way, at the beginning of the season rather when we get to late December and into January. But I mean, Josh Allen's just every week I watch him. It's probably like what you guys felt like watching Rodgers for the last however many years. Like you watch and you're just like, holy shit! Like, what's he gonna do next? Like, what's he gonna do next? No, it's funny because we had our show last night, and I told everybody, hey, I'd be on Ramage tomorrow, and I said I'm kind of coming into the Lions Den tonight. Usually, I've been on with you like 4 or 5 times probably, and usually we're neutral parties. I was like, man, I'm probably gonna get beat up in the comments tomorrow night. But no, I mean, me and you have said from the beginning since the first day, so everybody knows the first time I ever talked to Matt was over the phone when I first started out, and I got in touch with him, and he was like, yeah, I'll help you out. What do you need? So he came on my show, and then we talked on the phone for like an hour after that, just about podcasting, and then into football, and then it turned into like life talk, honestly. But one thing me and him agreed on right from the get-go is that Bills fans and Packers fans are the same people from 2 different parts of the country. That's it. That's the only difference between the two of them. They like drinking, they love football. And it's small market. It's just small market love. That's what it is. So, I'm a Packers owner. Matt's aware of that. I did buy a share. I have a little secret crush on Green Bay which is how I found Matt to begin with. But Buffalo is obviously my team. I don't believe in saying I have a second favorite team. So I call him a secret. I call him it's a secret crush. But no, I mean, it's been different. The whole aura surrounding the Bills has been different the last few years. They're competing. They're where we've been waiting for a long time. The majority of my adult life.
Yeah, that's what I always say like about Bills fans, because they're like the most loyal fan base, and they were like nothing for so long. And they were still, and then they were still in Sports Center doing crazy stuff. They weren't always throwing each other through tables.
No.
Some newish. I don't think it's new, but it's but even like back in the day, like everyone talked about Bills fans like how loyal they are, and so now they get to win, and it sucks for all the generation of people that just died off because they never got to witness it. But I think it's cool that Bills fans get to witness it. Hopefully they're a little bit sad come Sunday night, but I think the Bills are going to be all right this season.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, that's a big spread. It's crazy that it's not actually that unbelievable that Rodgers has never been a double-digit dog. I when I saw that, I assumed that was accurate, that it would be his first time being a double-digit underdog in a football game, because they've just been so competitive for so long.
I thought maybe the first year, but I was kind of surprised, but yeah, it kind of makes sense because they've always been pretty competitive.
Well, trade deadline too. No, you're good. Like, trade deadline coming up, I think is going to be more important for Green Bay than I do Buffalo. There's a lot of talk with Buffalo going after running backs. They inquired about McCaffrey. I'm glad they didn't do anything stupid there. I'm not a big sell the farm for a running back or overpay a running back. I think that position's become a little bit of a dime a dozen. As you can tell, GMs feel the same way because who are they giving contracts to? Wide receivers and quarterbacks. So, I hope Buffalo kind of just stays a little bit neutral when it comes to the trade deadline, but I would love to see Green Bay get themselves a receiver. And I know everybody's going to come in the comments and be like, that ain't our way. That ain't what we do. Well, times have changed, and sometimes organizations got to catch up with that, and they need a steady, reliable target for Rodgers. Because I know, like, one thing that's completely driven me nuts the last couple of weeks, if I see one more Green Bay fan say bench Rodgers, he's like 7, 8 games removed from back-to-back MVP seasons, and you want to bench that guy?
Yeah, it's dude. Packers, like, especially on Twitter, Packer fans are wild, and like I just try to avoid it, like, because yesterday had like a boiling point. I actually wasn't on Twitter at all yesterday, but I saw it today. It's just wild. Like me, I'm just like, this season isn't what we thought. They need, like, on the offense, like, help everywhere. Like they definitely need a wide receiver, someone who can get open. They need to use their tight ends. They need to run the ball more, and their offensive line needs some crazy work. Like, without the offensive line, the rest doesn't even matter. They did better last week. They did do better last week, but and Rodgers has to be more accurate. Like, I'm not sure, like, the stats, but like I forget what play it was when Rodgers overthrew someone. I've never seen him overthrow something like that.
But even with that, like, it's going to happen. But the thing is, too, is a lot of what you see in Rodgers' pass accuracy numbers is also a credit to the receivers he was throwing to, who were able to get separation. And that's what these guys just aren't doing. He's throwing to blanketed guys because if he holds onto the ball any longer, he's going to take a sack. Like, he has to get rid of it.
Yeah.
And to me, it almost seems like Rodgers is trying to do too much. And that's probably another unpopular opinion in the comments here in 2 seconds. But that's how I feel when I watch Green Bay games, which, keep in mind, Bills fan, yes, I have 3 TVs right here. Like, right across from this way right here. I watch 3 games at one time all season long, every Sunday, 1 o'clock and 4 o'clock games. What's that for you guys? Noon and 3?
Yeah.
But yeah, so we like, I pay attention. I know, like, I'm not just saying shit to say shit. It's Rodgers cannot be taking so much of the brunt as what he is. The dude doesn't have any weapons. And when you had a security blanket like Devontae Adams, who still is the best talent at the receiver position in the NFL, you were able to, those guys like Lazard, they were able to get open. It wasn't too difficult for them when 2-3 guys are paying attention to what Adams is doing.
Yeah.
So that they just need someone to help them in that wide receiver room. Somebody in the comments said Jerry Jeudy or Chase Claypool.
I actually got this pinned right here. I think that this is a good comment right here.
I'd go Jeudy all day long.
Yeah, like
Chase Claypool, but only if you can convince him to delete all his social media and TikTok before he comes to your team.
I mean, unless I'll do a TikTok with him. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, I guess that would benefit you, wouldn't it? Yeah. So
yeah, I wouldn't mind either. Like, I'm not like know it all about either of these guys except for like what I heard. But yeah, I know that, like, Chase Claypool, a lot of people say that, might come with whatever social media stuff.
Yeah, he's the guy who, if you remember, in a game I think it was against Dallas or somebody last season, he got a first down while the clock's expiring. They need to spike it to kick a field goal, and they probably could have got one more play off, and they couldn't because he was too busy celebrating. Yeah, he's kind of a clown, in my opinion. Jerry Jeudy, you typically don't go wrong with Alabama receivers. It doesn't, they're cut from the Nick Saban mold. He doesn't really, take too much of the spotlight. He's a pretty quiet dude. And he's reliable. He's a guy who went in a lot. Well, I just said he's a guy, like, I sound like Chris Collinsworth there for a second. Now here's a guy. Oh man, that's bad. That's a guy I don't want to sound like. So Jerry Jeudy, though, his stock went way up for fantasy once Wilson got there, and clearly that hasn't panned out. I don't think that's Judy's fault, but that's
Wilson's just weird, dude.
He's just different, man. He's
I
different.
mean, I think he's
Working
a
out
good
on the
dude.
plane. Did you see that?
Yeah, yeah, like, and he's like bragging about it. Like, I don't know, he's
Yeah,
just a weird the way he says stuff. And like, I think he's a really good dude. He probably is a good human. He's out
yeah,
there doing good things in the
sure.
world. But like, he is just so
But I don't.
cringy.
I don't want to hang out with him.
Whenever he talks, it's like it's a character.
Yeah,
It's like he's trying out for SNL. I don't know. It's weird. It's like that's what it is. Every time Russell Wilson talks, it's like you're watching an imitation. Like someone like imitated him. It's like doesn't seem like the real him because it's just so weird.
Did
But
you
anyway,
did you see the Bears moved Robert Quinn?
yeah, I saw
And
that.
so did you see the press conference with I think it was what was it Roquan Smith?
Yeah, his guy.
So I have a
And
theory. I have a theory on that where Roquan Smith was, the news broke to him while he was in a press conference and he started crying. I think it's because he was upset that he was the one who wanted to get traded. He's like, get me away from Chicago.
I know he's like,
He's
this
like,
is my.
damn man, I was like really hoping it was me.
He's like that's
Robert Quinn, luckiest guy I know.
I don't know. They had money on it. Which one of us are getting traded?
So there's no way he liked Robert Quinn that much. That guy was only there for like 2 years.
Maybe
they didn't become the. But yeah, I'd love to see Green Bay make a move. I mean, it's coming up.
Yeah, and it hopefully. But the thing is with the Packers, they always talk about it. Like they're always the Packers are in the mix. So like
Yeah.
I lost all
Till
faith that they're
till
gonna
you
make
see
a
the
move.
trigger pulled, you're kind of like
Yeah.
hesitant
Yeah.
to believe anything. Yeah.
Especially like with a bigger name. Like if they do trade for a wide receiver, it'll be like someone no one heard of. Like it'll be like unless you're like an all NFL like know it all, you've never heard of this guy. He's like the fourth receiver on the Jaguars or something.
They got I mean, from what I've heard, there isn't like too many big name wide receivers that people are looking to move, aside from Judy, and then Claypool's been rumored for a while, which I wouldn't be surprised about that because the Steelers, if they're looking obviously to the future, they just got that kid last year, George Pickens, in the draft, and he's tough. So I don't think they'll like no love lost getting rid of Claypool. But like DJ Moore, I know Carolina said he's untouchable. Whether that's true or not, or them just trying to drive the price up for him, who knows? But yeah, I mean, it's a weird season though. It is like every year I think I say that too. Like the NFL just gets weirder and weird. It's so weird. Like the AFC West, everybody was saying how great the AFC West is going to be. Like I'm writing in the whole division making the playoffs. At the beginning of the season, I'm like, yeah, they can get 3 wild cards out of that division. And I think they got
looking that way. Yeah, I'm looking at the record right here.
Yeah, look at the records. It's
the Chiefs are 5-2, Chargers 4-3, Raiders 2-4, Broncos 2-5. So yeah,
they stink.
2 teams that are, obviously the Chiefs are the Chiefs, but the Raiders are like, dude, people were picking them to win a Super Bowl, like, and that is not going to happen.
Well, and like somebody's in the comments talking about Brady, the Bucks stink. The NFC South is trash, like that. The AFC and NFC South. Actually, if you look at both those divisions, AFC and NFC, they're both pretty trashy.
That's what I was saying about like the Packers. If they turn around, like people got mad at me and like freaked out because I was like, it's still early and they're like, oh, you're delusional. But I'm not saying that I think it's gonna happen, but like they have to prove it, because they really haven't shown a lot to say that they're gonna. But if they can figure it out, like if they could get a win tonight or Sunday night somehow, some way, like the Bills have the bad game, the Packers have the great game, because that's kind of how it happens. There's a lot of teams that aren't supposed to win. I mean, this is a big stretch. That's why they're favored by over 10 points. But if they would happen to do that, like I feel like that could thrust them, give them some confidence, keep them moving. But I mean, that's asking a lot, right?
Josh Allen's I can't remember if it was his rookie year or if it was the year after. I can't remember, but he went into Minnesota with a pretty bad Bills team, 17-point dogs.
All right.
And they beat them like 30-10 or 30-17 or something like that. Like Buffalo is up like 21-0 in the first at halftime. So anything could happen. Absolutely anything could happen. But with that said, it was the Vikings.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be hard. Like I think the Packers defense can hold their own. I mean, even though I think don't the Bills are the number one passing team and the Packers are the number one passing defense.
That's
And like
correct.
I just learned the Packers are the number one passing defense. I didn't even know that. I was like, for real? I didn't realize because I think the Packers defense does play well, like especially in the first half. Second half, maybe they get winded a little bit. The plays start to break off. But I think the Packers passing defense, I'm not saying that they're gonna shut the Bills offense down, but they could keep it manageable. But I'm not sure the Packers offense, like they had to play lights out to keep up. Even with the, even if the Packers defense is playing well, like you can't play half a game against the Bills. You can't take a series off
No,
because they're gonna be going like
not this
the
year.
Bills are
Yeah,
gonna bill. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And
They're the way that it's the interesting thing for you guys to keep an eye on is the Bills, and through what, 6 games, they had a bye week, it's week 8. Yeah, so through 6 games, they've allowed 17 points in the second half total, and it was seven
really,
to seven to the Dolphins, and then 10 to the Chiefs. Their last game prior to the bye week. That's all they've allowed. They've shut out four other teams. They've shut out in the second half.
well,
So I
that
don't know
says
if it's
something.
halftime adjustments or what it is, but I would think ideally, if Green Bay is going to win this game, they need to jump early. And the
Yeah,
Bills
well,
for
that's kind of how the Packers teams do. I mean, sometimes they don't jump at all too much, but they jump early in the second half. They kind of dwindle off, and that's I was talking to someone today at work, and they're like, the Packers are going to win 24-17, and he's like, but they're going to have to score at least 17 of those points in the first half. He's like, because I don't.
He's not wrong.
But
The thing is too, though, is like, and again, I pay attention. Like I because of you, I actually follow a few more Packers guys and just different pages, but like it's way too early to write the season off. Like there's so many people doing that, and it's like, listen, take a look around the NFC. If Green Bay wins 9 games, they can probably get into the playoffs, and
yeah,
I would assume they're going to win more than that.
I
If
was
they
saying it because
and all you do get into the playoffs, it's a brand new season. It doesn't matter what happened the last 3 months, except for maybe if you have an injury that lingers into the playoffs, then that matters, sure. But like wins and losses don't matter anymore. If you get into the playoffs, that's all you need to do, and then it's one game at a time. I
yeah,
just don't see the reason for everybody. Like a lot of Green Bay fans, just kind of like it's almost like they're like looking up Mel Kiper and seeing who he's projecting going into the draft next year. I'm like, slow down, man.
yeah, they're freaking out. But if you look at it, the NFC East is it. Like you got the
Yeah.
Eagles, Giants, and Cowboys all with 5-6 wins, and then the Seahawks have 4 wins. Then the Vikings, obviously, they're 5-1, and everyone else has 3 wins.
And
So
like to
like,
see, like we can even like let's toss the Seahawks into this conversation. Is Geno Smith going to be able to sustain the kind of play he's had for an entire season? Because he couldn't do it any other time in his whole career. But now all of a sudden, like it's just going to click, and he's going to. I mean, could it happen? Yeah, why? I guess, but I just don't. I don't see that happening. Like I don't think he can sustain his play for the whole season. Like, and I would assume whatever division winner comes out of that the West, that's all they're going to get. There won't be any. I wouldn't think there'd be any wild cards coming out of that division. They're just pretty bad right now. So
yeah, I think come playoff time, the NFC is going to look a lot different than it does right now. And I'm not saying like the Packers are going to win out and they're going to, take whatever. I'm just saying, like, I think there's got to be a couple 3-win teams that are going to get hot. And then some of the Vikings, maybe
sure.
they collapse because I have no faith that they'll play a complete season. But they're doing their thing so far. So I'll give them props, but not
When
too
is
much.
when is the Packers bye week?
I think it's like week 13.
I can probably pull that up real quick. But
Yeah.
they yeah, I mean it's just that's actually not a bad time for it to come either, because then you start a good stretch coming off your bye. That's leading you right into playoff time. Um
But they got to start winning like pretty quick here.
Well, they do, but I mean, I don't know. The way I looked at even the Bills, like 5 games is kind of like where I went with it. They're gonna lose five. Which five are they gonna be? I have no idea, but they're gonna lose 5 games. That's just my thought. I hope they don't. I hope they lose two or don't lose again the rest of the season. I don't know,
Yeah.
but I realistically, like I try to be realistic about my thoughts on everything related to football, especially because this league's so hard to predict. And I just assume 5 losses will be reasonable. The Packers have 3 right now. They could still lose 2 more, and that's
Oh yeah,
just 5. That's just 5 losses though. If they could lose 3 or 4 more, they could still finish 10-7. It doesn't, and that's going to get you in the playoffs.
yeah, and in the NFC, that does it just if you're in the AFC, like
That might
it's
not get you in the playoffs.
Yeah, that's not that probably won't do it. But the NFC, I think it will. So yeah, that's what I'm saying because people were like, if they lose to the Bills, the season's over. Like, it's still not over. I mean, it's not looking good, especially if they get absolutely annihilated, like everyone thinks they're gonna get. Like if the Bills beat the Packers 42-3 and like Josh Allen takes the fourth quarter off, then like I can see people saying like, all right, this ain't a good look. But if it's even competitive a little bit, I think that if they fix the thing, that's the thing. You can't just say, well, they can. Like they have to actually, do it. I think that they have the guys, but I thought that they should have beat the Jets. I went to the Packer game with a Jets fan. I would not have done that if I thought they were going to lose.
Yeah, I got corrected in the comments. They do have 4 losses. I said 3, and the reason I said that is because I was looking. The record I had pulled up was last 5 games, so that's why I said 3. But yeah, 3 and 4. So even so, I mean, I'm still just not concerned that it's like to write off the season. I think it's too early. If we're talking 3 weeks from now, they still haven't won a game, and, then that would be a different conversation. Sure, but like
then we start the draft shows.
Yeah, then we are talking. Yeah, then we are figuring out who Mel Kiper's looking at.
Yeah, I just we'll see like what they do. I mean, they have to use Aaron Jones more. Like I think maybe it's easier said than done because they talk about doing it, they're just not doing it. But every time the Packers are successful, Aaron Jones gets the ball, and it's not just getting the ball, but have it be successful because you can't keep feeding them if it's not getting anything. But they definitely have to figure it out. If it's not working one way, then screen them, get them out in routes. I don't care. Like get Aaron Jones the ball. It
is strange, and I listened to your show the other night, and it was what did Jones end with last week? Like 8 carries or something.
Yeah, I think
like
it was 8 carries.
And so that's what everybody always kind of goes after the Bills about is their running game. And like Singletary's averaging like 4.5 a carry, but he only has like, I don't know, 60 some carry. I don't know what it is. I'd have to look exactly what it was, but they're just not a running team. And if you're going to commit to that, then you got to commit to it. That's just how teams are. And if it's weird that LaFleur is saying, we want to run the ball. We want to run the ball, and then they don't let anybody get into a rhythm running the ball. Yeah, it's
yeah, because like what you said about the Bills are like that's what they do. They sling it. Like that's they're not a big run team. They kind of run because they have to. That's kind of like how the Packers used to be. Like when they had all the wide receivers, everyone's like, you got to run the ball. But like if it works slinging it, who cares? Like
right.
If you have a quarterback and receivers that can do it.
I understand the balance. Right now. Yeah, I understand the necessity of balance and stuff like that. But like in Green Bay's situation, where receivers aren't really getting that much separation, they aren't getting open, and you can see it when you're watching Rodgers try to fit everything into a tight window. That would, to me, says we do need to kind of commit to the run a little bit more, because then, you can bring play action in and all the different things that come along with having a good ground game. What that does for, the receivers is can't really, I don't want to say it can't be explained, but it's just something that, it's beneficiary to them so much. Like it just, get 33 the ball. And
get him under center. Yeah.
I mean, they're paying that man quite a bit of money, right? He got a big contract, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I was kind of surprised that he stayed. I didn't think he was gonna. When we got if inside runs don't work, bounce the corner. Otherwise, screen, hit the tight ends, take the short chunks, and march down the field instead of trying to sprint. See, that is like everything that I've been saying wound up in one comment. That's probably the best comment that's ever happened.
There's a comment I want to address here too. Phil Jones said, how much separation can one get in 2.5 seconds? There's several teams that you can ask because they do it. Miami being one, they get the ball out quick. And I can tell you right now, if the offensive line is a huge concern, then Rodgers is going to have to be getting the ball out quick on Sunday night because the Bills' defensive line is pretty good.
And
So
that's what happened against the Jets because the Jets defensive line
they are
is
good.
pretty good. Yeah, I
Yeah.
didn't know that how good they
Yeah.
were. Like I say, I went with a Jets fan and he was telling me that. He's like, our defensive line is really good. Offensive line is kind of weak. And I was just like, oh, okay. The
Well,
offensive line, maybe we could do this. And then they did exactly what I wanted to happen for us.
the reason you
It
didn't
worked
know
out.
that, Matt, is because for the last 10 years they've been drafting in the top 5 and they've just kept taking defensive linemen until some of them got good.
Yeah.
And they did. They got good. So here we are. But still Zach Wilson. I'm not overly
Yeah.
not
Sup,
overly
Jason?
concerned about the Jets just yet.
Yeah, I mean, they beat my team at home. So I can't say too much, but like, yeah, I don't think come playoff time, like anyone's going to be too worked up about them.
No, a lot of trade talk going on in your comments still. I think that's what everybody. When's the deadline? Tuesday? Is it this week?
It's this week. I'm not really sure when.
I think it's Tuesday.
Yeah, they definitely, and like I think we got some. I got the injury report here on my phone because I wanted to look at.
Lazard might be out Sunday. He's saying
Yeah, we
he's
got
reporting.
even Rashawn Gary got a concussion. He was limited participation today. But I'm looking for like Sammy Watkins, limited participation, and Christian Watson. So like that they both have a hamstring. Like if they play, like I would like to see Watson back on the field. I know a lot of people dogging him. I'd like to see him back on the field. I think he's got that speed that the Packers offense needs. But I mean, he's been out of the offense for a little bit. It didn't start off great for him, but I'd like to see him get worked back in.
Trade deadline is Tuesday at 4 p.m.
Tuesday at 4 p.m. Set your clocks because everyone's gonna, right at the end, all the Adam Schefters got their phones ready to get on the tweeter with it. But it'll be interesting. Let's bring some more comments in here. Iowa Joe says Rodgers used to be good at getting the ball out quick. Remember the training camp drills they used to run with the time clock and buzzer? Yeah, dude. That used to be like their thing. That especially like even with Devontae and all those receivers going back, that really quick slant, like just snapping a ball and slinging it for a slant. I'm not sure, it's working as well or people know. I mean, you can't do it every play because people, they'll just put a linebacker there or whatever. But yeah, that used to be like their thing.
Another comment saying trade. Yeah, right there. Wish they signed Odell. I think they pushed back his potential ready time to like sometime in December. So I don't think that too many people are gonna
I think
attack
he's
that. I
gonna
don't know how
be
early they're gonna attack on him yet.
because if he's ready just before playoff time, like a team might. But if you're a playoff team, like you got this guy, like you're gonna bring him in. I don't think he's a bad for the locker room, but you just throw in another piece. If he gets hurt right away, like he's coming off injury, like how 100% is he gonna be? I think he's
I was in a place the last week where I was like, I hope Buffalo kind of makes a move on him only to make sure he doesn't go to Kansas City. But then today, Kansas City traded for Kadarius Toney from the Giants. So I don't know if that removes them from the Odell sweepstakes, but they definitely got, their receiver they were looking for to help Mahomes out. But that the Chiefs just, I respect the hell out of them. But also I just, because that's like Buffalo's big nemesis. Everybody makes a huge deal leading up to the times that they play. And so secretly I kind of hate them.
Yeah, because I think that's gonna be a battle for a lot of years, a real fun one to watch. But I don't know. I kind of feel like it's the Bills' time because I've always said it's like Aaron Rodgers started 2008, 2010 won a Super Bowl. Patrick Mahomes a couple years won a Super Bowl. A lot of guys like that. That's kind of what it is. Even the Seahawks with Russell Wilson.
Russ.
And it's not always a couple years, but it's that first little chunk. Everyone's talking about them. They're hot. They're like to talk a little bit, and then boom, they win a Super Bowl. We'll see if that happens for the Bills. I mean, I think they got a little better shot right now than the Packers do.
It's something that I think once it happens, then because I've waited so long and want it so badly that if it were to happen the years following, like if they made it back or didn't make it back and or made it there and lost or whatever, like it just wouldn't hurt as bad. Like I
Yeah,
just
because
want
at
to see
least you
it.
got to experience it.
Right.
Yeah.
I just want that experience. Like, I mean, my vacation time refreshes in January, and I always tell my wife that, excuse me, that you know, if that day comes, like that whole week following the Super Bowl, I'm not working because I'm probably going to be drunk, possibly not wearing pants, and at a Super Bowl parade, up in Buffalo. But I just I want to feel it so
Yeah,
bad.
I do. I remember because the Packers won the Super Bowl when I was like 16, but I always felt like I didn't enjoy it enough because like I was young and I was kind of like it's gonna happen a lot, and I was into football, but like I was also into like having fun and doing stuff. But I remember that Super Bowl very clearly, and I remember going down by the parade and like Desmond Howard picked up a kid, like brought him in a bus, and like there was like a telephone pole there driving by, so he put him back, handed him to the people, and like it was just like such a cool thing. There
Yeah,
was like big, buses and it seemed like I was like, there's a lot of people on these buses. I don't know what they brought the janitor, they brought everybody, but so it was cool that the Packers got to do it again. Like when I was adult, when I was like, fully like this might not ever happen again. It was a cool thing. I didn't go to a parade that time. I don't think
that was
I
against
remember
Pittsburgh,
that.
right?
Yeah, yeah.
I was that actually might have been like the day that I was like, you know what, Green Bay is pretty cool in my book because I live in northwestern Pennsylvania, which is primarily, I mean, there's some Bills fans around, there's some Browns fans. We're pretty central to those three cities: Buffalo, Pittsburgh, Cleveland. But it's mostly Steeler country where I live, and my whole family, minus me, is all Pittsburgh love, like everything.
Uh,
Yeah, I'm the black sheep. But
yeah.
I'm getting the laugh now. I mean, they had it like the majority of my life, but I patiently waited, and then
That's the thing. You get it. Like this is your time, and you're gonna have Josh Allen for a long time, and hopefully they run that thing right
yeah,
and keep the thing going, which I think they will. But yeah, dude, my wife went to this Super Bowl 45, and she said Steeler fans are not as nice as everyone talks about.
no, they're
They were like telling my wife to sit down and like be quiet, and because she was cheering because they were up, and then they were like being like all crazy, like
if I went to the
dudes
Super
yelling at a
Bowl,
group of women because I wasn't
right?
there. It was
Yeah,
just women, and like these are grown men yelling at women to sit down because their team's losing. Like, dude,
if I paid what it costs for a Super Bowl ticket, and another like spectator tried to tell me what I should or shouldn't be doing, I would have a field day with that.
yeah, especially dude, your teams win a Super Bowl, and it was kind of like towards
Yeah.
the end. She said
Well,
we're
of
kind of
course,
all the
what it is
Packer
because
fans
they're
were
all
like
right.
lit up,
Yeah, they're
but
pissed. But yeah, that game definitely was like the minute that I was like, yeah, I think Green Bay's okay because I was rooting for him hard in that game because I liked Rodgers. I've always liked Rodgers, and over the last like couple years, I've started to like him even more because I'm one of those who feel that if you are a villain to the mainstream media, then you are just fine in my book. Like you're an okay dude.
what I got like what Rogers, but a lot of people don't. I feel like he trolls the media a little bit.
It's great.
Like everything he says, he knows exactly what he's saying and how
Yeah.
he's saying it,
Yeah. Oh
and
yeah.
like just little comments, and then
He's a
you'll see those
calculated
comments.
dude.
Yeah, I was watching him on Pat McAfee. I forget what he said. I don't want to get into all that stuff because people got all mad about it. But I forget what it was. But I tweeted. I said, "Oh, that's gonna get crazy quoted on Twitter," and it did. It was like the biggest story. I just don't care. Like he says stuff. I either think it's funny or else I just don't care. I just don't care like what players say. Like I think it's funny like when Marshawn Lynch used to not answer. I like it awesome like what Belichick does.
Oh, I love it.
It's entertainment. Like football is entertainment. They're asking questions. Like, and I get it. They got to ask questions. But like, I'd rather see like Bill Belichick just troll him a little bit. I don't know.
I think the way Rogers handles the media is awesome because he just makes it clear that they're extremely low on his list of things he gives a shit about, really. And I respect that. Have you ever watched his I can't remember the dude's name. Somebody in the comments will be able to help me out with this. His name's Cameron. He works for Barstool and he does the Sunday conversations.
Yeah, I don't think I know that one.
Okay, you
Top of
need
my
to
head. Well,
watch as soon as this show's over. You need to get on Google, YouTube, whatever, and type in Sunday conversation with Aaron Rodgers, and it will be the funniest like 6 minutes you've ever seen Aaron Rodgers. It's a. Do you know
oh
Glenny
yeah,
Ball?
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I know. I didn't know the name, but I know which podcast you're talking about.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah, that's
Glenny
hilarious.
Balls. Glenny
Yeah,
Balls is sitting in the middle eating ice cream. And
yeah.
then it was Rogers in that was just like that was him. Like that's who you get when you deal with him. And I just think he's great. He's funny. He just doesn't care.
So I wanted to ask you about this today. What about Jake Kumro? You guys trying to trade him or what? What's going on?
No, definitely not.
How is he doing in Buffalo? Because I don't watch all
He's
the Bills
actually
games.
I think he's the only one who is ruled out for this coming Sunday.
Oh really? Probably
Yeah,
pending the trade,
he
huh?
had like a banged up ankle. I'd have to look it up, but I know he was the only one against the Chiefs. He was the um only player out that wasn't a healthy scratch. He injured his
He was
ankle,
a
but
health. Oh, okay. I was saying if he's
no, he
healthy scratch,
wasn't.
maybe he's gearing up to put
No,
on
no,
that
no. They ain't
green
getting
and
rid of
yellow
him.
again.
He fills in nicely when Diggs needs a break or Davis needs a break or whatever. He comes in and does well. I mean, he doesn't get a lot of targets, but he
Yeah, I
usually
wouldn't
makes the
think so.
most of them, and he's a solid special teamer. So I don't see them parting ways with old, what do they call him?
Yeah, I
Touchdown
don't.
Jesus.
Yeah, I don't think. I'm not sure that the Packers front office sees him as in the same eyes that Aaron Rodgers does. Or I don't. I think that kind of got probably blown up a little bit. That's why he mentions it all the time. Because Rodgers, he said he liked Kumro, and then he was like cut like a day later.
Oh yeah, I do. I know what you're talking about now.
So now
Yeah,
everyone talks about, it, and Rodgers will bring it up once in a while. And so
be like,
it seems like every season, I think Kumro was cut once and then brought back in, or however something happened, and everyone's like, go get him now, or whatever.
he's
But yeah,
he's he's pretty solid. I would definitely. I forgot that he was a Green Bay guy.
yeah, the Packer fans love him. But
I know I can get the Packer fans all wound up when I tell them how much I love Micah Hyde.
yeah, Packer. I don't really care about that one because the Packers weren't even using him right, anyways. And
Yeah, he was like all over the place, wasn't he? Didn't
yeah,
they line him up at like 3 different positions or something?
they kind of screwed with him. I don't remember exactly, but I remember that that's what everyone was talking about then. But like, I don't know. If the Packers make a decision and like 3 years later this player gets good, people get all mad. Or like even if they don't draft someone and then that player blows up, and then they're like, oh, they could have had it. And like people will complain
Yeah,
about it for like years and years. Like TJ Watt, they still complain about it. And it's like, dude, like that's just what it is. Like you could go back, like all the teams that passed on Aaron Rodgers, all the
yeah,
teams that passed on Tom Brady. Like even though I don't think Tom Brady would have been Tom Brady if he didn't go there, and in Rodgers
agreed.
maybe too, because maybe sitting behind Favre did a thing. I think, but whatever. But a lot of teams passed on a lot of teams. There's a lot of great players who weren't number one picks. Like everyone got passed on. So I mean, and teams hit and they miss. Sometimes I think the misses are counted a little bit more than the
It's
hits.
they absolutely are. Yeah, I mean, if you look back for Patrick Mahomes when he was drafted to the Chiefs actually traded up with Buffalo for that pick
Oh,
during
really?
during the first round. Yeah, they moved up switched with picks with Buffalo and took Patrick Mahomes. Buffalo ended up with Tre'Davious White, which was just fine too. But yeah, I mean that was a huge mess, in Buffalo when Allen was in his first couple years and he wasn't playing real great, and that's what if you looked at all the Bills pages at that time, that's what they looked like. Well, good thing we got Tre'Davious White because we could have had Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
Could have, but like, yeah, the draft is a total crapshoot, and I don't invest a lot of my energy into like what ifing
Yeah,
when it
going
comes
back
to the
and looking.
draft. Yeah,
But
you could make yourself insane doing that. I mean, like you said, Brady was a what, sixth rounder?
I think it was like the 199th
Yeah,
pick.
yeah. So like every team passed on him like 7 times, like before they even, yeah, like who, why?
You know what's funny though? Like you mentioned, Bills fans not being pumped about Josh Allen. I released, like, through the strugglish times, knowing that they could have Patrick Mahomes. The Chiefs fans were mad that Patrick Mahomes was even drafted.
Yeah,
because they had Alex Smith and they're all vibing with it.
Yeah.
And like I think every team that has a quarterback that doesn't just ball from day one, like the fans are mad, or like especially like if they don't know like Jordan Love, people hate Jordan Love. Like I don't know what Jordan Love is. Like I've never until we really see him in like a real game with all.
And even what he's spot started like 2 or 3 times maybe.
Yeah,
That's not that's not a sample size enough for you give him an off season of prepping with the ones and a full season at a minimum to really know what you have with him or what can be done to develop him. I mean, if you watched Allen in his first year, I think he had 9 touchdown throws and 12 interceptions. He ran the ball every play. And I was just expecting him to die eventually. But it did. And it didn't look like he was going to be the guy. But everybody gets so wound up because the media and everything has made fans and teams, I believe, so much that the NFL is a win now league. It's win right now. If this guy's he's not working out, we got to move on to the next. Let's try somebody else. It's stupid. It is the dumbest
Yeah, because back in the
concept.
day that you had time. Back in the
Yeah,
like Peyton
yeah.
Manning, his first year, there's no
Led
way anyone would
led
have
the
thought
league
he
in
was going to be.
interceptions.
I mean,
Right.
people expected him to get better because
Yeah.
they knew who he was. But like there was no reason to think this guy is going to be any good other than
It
you
just
knew who he was.
it just makes me wonder how many there like could have beens there were that have gone through the NFL, like guys who, if they had just been given more of an opportunity and time to develop and time to learn, like what did we miss out on? You know what I mean?
Tim Tebow.
All right. Tim Tebow has one of my favorite plays of all time. The overtime touchdown throw to
He won a playoff
Thomas.
game.
Yeah. It was against Pittsburgh, dude. It was great.
Yeah.
I was in a bar in Erie, Pennsylvania, packed with Steeler fans, and it was just one of the coolest things I've ever watched was when Thomas went sprinting into the end zone. Like, you just got beat by Tebow.
Yeah. They're like, he's a winner. He's a winner.
That he was. Phil Jones is I brought that up. That was his rookie year. It must have been 2018. 17-point dogs. So that's my glimmer of hope I'm giving to Packer fans right now. Is the Bills were 17-point underdogs in that game. And they had no business in it. And if Vegas, first of all, if that's what you're believing in, which to a degree as a like 12-year veteran of betting football, I do kind of trust Vegas. But anything can happen. Dude, I don't know how they do it, man. Odds makers are some of the most brilliant people on earth, I swear. They get games down to a half a point, and they're like on in most cases, but not all. Like I said, 17-point underdogs, and they came out.
Yeah, I mean,
shit happens.
It happens. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So who are you taking in this game?
This is I should have prepped for this question. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with Buffalo. I think that my prediction is that we see a close first half, and maybe tied, maybe a 3-point lead going into halftime for Buffalo if they have a lead in the first half, and then I think the second half is just Leslie Frazier seems to be dialed in the second half this year defensively. He has them ready. 17 points they've allowed in 6 games in the second half. That's kind of a I wouldn't say a forgotten stat, but not one many people talk about. But yeah, I just don't. I don't think you're holding Josh Allen to 17 points. But I like your enthusiasm, though. I do, because like I said, anything could happen. Anything could happen.
I think what the Packers have going bad for them, which there's a few things, but I'll just say the one is like you talk about the second half, them being able to dial it in and not give up points. And the Packers are lacking points in the second half. So you combine those things, it's not looking good. But I'm still picking the Packers because if the Packers do win, and like I'm gonna say, I'm not gonna put money on it. This is a tough game. I think the Bills are they're the best team in the NFL, and I think that they're gonna go to the Super Bowl. But if the Packers do win, I'm gonna talk so much trash, and not to Bills, and not to any Bills fans. The Packer fans.
I like that. I knew that's where you were going with it too.
I mean, it is what it is. Like I get it because people are like, because I said on like on an Adam Schefter comment page on a comment section that the Packers will win. And then like, dude, like people come out like, oh, you're on drugs, this and that. Like it was just like so hilarious. Like people are like so offended. I'm like, it can happen, bro. Like I wasn't saying that, like I'm being all serious. Like this is gonna happen. Everyone should bet on this. Like no, I'm saying like I think that the Packers backs against the wall. Everyone's just straight dragging them. Like if they, I think that they're gonna step up and play better. Like will that be enough? Will they play good enough? Like we'll see because the Bills are really freaking good. But
What
I think they got a shot.
is sports betting legal in Wisconsin?
No. I mean, I
No?
think not like I don't. I don't.
Like
I don't,
you guys can't get the FanDuel app and put money on the game, right?
I don't think not straight up. Like some of their contest stuff you can do, but I don't think you can straight up bet the Bills and the Pack. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think so because I think I've tried to do it before.
Okay, so if anybody is feeling so inclined, which some of them are, let me see here. A $25 bet, the Packers on the money line, which means they're just in. They're plus 400 odds. So if you put $25 on it, the return would be 125. Nick says it is legal.
Is it? I didn't think it was. I know that you can do like the fantasy stuff.
I can probably tell you like right now, if I turn my location off on my app and then log in, it'll probably it'll ask you what state you're in and if Wisconsin's on here. I'll tell you right now.
Let me know.
Try it. Yeah, it's gonna try and find my location. And I turned it off, so it should say where are you at.
Yeah, I thought I tried it before on one of those sites, and I couldn't get it.
Oh, there it is. All right, I turned it off. Okay.
Okay, he's saying our local casino in Greenville. Yeah, I thought like at the casino that you can, but like, can you like on the apps, like the online? I know that
if you have them in the casinos, then you probably can on the app.
But the casinos are on like reservations. It's not. I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I can't get it to work.
I don't think you can on an app, but I know that you can walk into a casino. I'm sure the rules are different.
Yeah, so right. A $25 bet right now. I like
this comment right here. He says the Packers will shock the world this Sunday night. Anyone can beat on any given Sunday.
He's not wrong.
Yeah. He's not wrong, but yeah,
he's not wrong.
It's and I get why people like Packer fans are, not excited about this game, but we'll see what happens. You know what I mean?
So if you throw, Nick says that they have them in the casino. If you go down there and throw a $25 bet on the Packers, your return is what? Almost 100%, 75%. So it's pretty good.
I should go in there.
Don't start. If you don't bet football, Matt, don't start. Do not start.
No, I'm not really a gambler because I like doing like the fantasy stuff, not like fantasy football, like traditional, but like once in a while going on the apps and using it that way. But I'm not a big gambler because like I don't like giving money away because like I don't with even like lottery tickets and stuff. Like I'll buy like a $1 or $2, but like we creep into $5. I feel like that's an investment now. Like we got to do some praying now. We got to get into this thing because I lose $5. So I can't imagine. I used to get mad.
It's an addiction.
At work.
It's 100% an addiction.
Yeah, I've never. Yeah,
I've been betting football
to losing money. If I won once in a while, maybe. But I can't get addicted to just losing money like that. You know what I mean?
I've been betting football since 2010, and it just became in Pennsylvania like 4 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago. So you had to have bookies, which was like the shadiest business deals of all time. I had did I ever tell you my one bookie story?
No, I don't think so.
All right, you gotta hear this. We got time. It won't take long. It's only a few minutes.
Yeah, we're good.
Okay, so this was 2016 into 2017. So I moved away from Erie, PA. So I had my bookie was in Erie. That's who I bet through. Every Sunday he'd send me a text message with the lines. Every year he'd change his phone number because he's like, the heat's on me. It was like, it's crazy, right? So he was an older dude. And I only knew his first name, but I won't drop any names or anything like that. But I only knew his first name. I knew what car he drove because I'd meet him. We'd square up, and we met every Tuesday. Well, when I moved away, an hour and a half away from Erie, he said, hey, if you still want to bet through me, we'll just run a total for the full season. And then, we'll meet up like after the Super Bowl, the week after the Super Bowl, you come up here and we'll square up. And I'm like, okay, that works for me. So I had to keep some numbers throughout the season, but it wasn't that hard to figure out. So season rolls through, the 2016 football season, 2017, we get into February, Super Bowl's over. Well, my wife and I were going on our honeymoon, and I was like, hey, we're coming up through Erie because we're driving to Cleveland to the airport. Can I, meet up with you then? Sure. So we get up there, I meet him, and he actually owed me. So I had like $1,500 he was paying me to go. I was like, yeah, I'll take that on my honeymoon. Perfect. So I meet him at Sheetz up in Erie, gives me my money. And it was always small talk. I didn't know the guy. I said, how you doing, bud? Oh, I'm good, but I feel like I've had a cold for like 3 months. And I'm like, oh, sorry to hear that, Well, have fun on your honeymoon. Yep. See you later. Go on my way. Fast forward to August. Football's starting up, right? College football week 0. It's almost kickoff. I don't get a text from him. I'm like, shit. Like maybe he must have changed his number or something. So wait another day, another week. Still not hearing from him. So I didn't want to text him because if he changed his number and didn't tell me, I thought maybe he cut me off because I live far away. I can't square up with him every week. Like it messes with his money. So I was like, I don't know what's going on. So I text that number that I had for him and I said, hey, are you doing the games this week? Like just tried to keep it super vague in case it was like the cops or something.
Damn cops.
So I'm like, hey, we doing the games this week? And somebody wrote back, LOL, what? And I'm like, oh, shit. So I said, is this, and I put his name. LOL, no, wrong number. I'm like, well, damn. So I'm like, it's like killing me because I'm like, I want to bet these games. And I'm like, what happened? Like, what? I wanted an explanation. If he didn't want to go through, you want me to go through him anymore? Fine, whatever. So I text my buddy who like set me up with this dude. And I said, hey, you remember when you got me linked up with him? Oh, yeah, I remember. I said, well, did he change his number? Or like, can you get a hold of him and ask him like why he cut me off? He's like, dude, he died like 7 months ago. I'm like, what? So he gave me his last name. I look up the obituary. 8 days after he met up with me, the dude died. No joke.
That's wild.
8 days. So if I hadn't met up with him,
like, got your money.
And now I'd have been out $1,500.
No, and it sucks for him. I mean, I don't mean to be cold. Like,
oh no, I'm being cold about it. It's a hilarious story. It really is. I mean, it did suck. He was a nice guy, but at the same time, I was like, man, how crazy is like the whole timing of everything?
It's 8 days. Said that he had a cold.
Yeah, he said he like, I feel like I've had a cold for like 3 months. That was the only thing he said to me when I met up with him that day. And 8 days later, dude dies.
Yeah, maybe he should have seen a doctor in those couple months.
He might not have been able to have his name out on hospital records or anything like that. Dude might have been wanted.
I know, right? Hey, I got to give a shout out to the Viking fan who loves my page more than any Viking page. Big shout out to Billy. What's up, Billy? Thanks for tuning in. Vikings are probably going to lose this. Yeah, he's a Vikings fan.
The Bills will slaughter them here in a few weeks too.
Yeah, that'll be a good day. All right, I appreciate you coming out with me. I hope you enjoy the game. If the Packers win, I won't text you and like gloat or nothing. But
no, do it. I'm gonna be so. Listen, I'm leaving for vacation on Saturday, golf trip, Myrtle Beach. So I got on the Bills have this thing called the Bills backers map, and it pinpoints all these bars that are that you can go to on game days, and there will be other Bills fans there, like guaranteed.
Oh,
They have
okay.
chapter presidents and everything. It's pretty wild.
Oh, really? That's awesome.
Yeah, it's nuts. But so I found 3. There's 3 in Myrtle Beach, but there's one that's like 10 minutes from my hotel. So that's where we're gonna go watch the Packer Bills game Sunday night. So no, absolutely text me and talk shit.
Yeah, I don't think he'll get a text, but all right, but everyone, check out the Beehive Sports Podcast. He doesn't just talk Bills; he talks about the whole NFL. He puts on a great show. Are you sponsored by Busch Light?
Yes, we are.
There you go.
Yeah,
That's how you get it done.
Rick actually said something. If you can find the comment, I can scroll through them here. He said something like, "If the Bills, or if the Packers beat the Bills, you send me a Busch Light."
Oh yeah. I did see that.
They let me send fluid. Can I do that?
You can, but I don't think it's legal. You have to like really package, because they ask when you go in, there's anything liquid or flammable in there.
Oh yeah, I'd be like, no,
dude. I always want to say, what do you think I am? You
yeah,
I'm
like
shipping lighter fluid right now. What do you think's happening? It's a shirt. It's soft.
It's just nothing fluid. It's just a meth lab. No big deal.
But yeah, you can ship it. You're actually not supposed to, but you just got to bubble wrap it and all that. Because if it breaks and it ruins stuff, I'm sure you're getting that bill.
Oh yeah,
because they throw that stuff around. But I know that people have sent me beer bottles even. They just wrap it like in the bubble wrap and all that, the good stuff.
Is Busch Light popular in Wisconsin?
Yeah, a lot. It's kind of like the Busch Light. Like everyone up north drinks Busch Light. It seems like from what I see, like all like I won't say hillbillies, but the more
they're hillbillies for sure. Yeah.
The country folk will say.
Dude, they make camo hunting boxes of beer. Of course, it's for the hillbillies.
Yeah, the guys that you call when you need someone to work on your truck. Bring them a case of Busch Light, you're good to go.
And they fix you right up.
They're good people. You know what I mean?
Dude, so Busch Light's like, we love it. I mean, like a lot of people, you drink this kind of beer. It's like Bud Light, Miller Light, whatever. But like, I love Busch Light. We had our pick, so we got sponsored by. It's called Crescent Beer, and it's just like they distribute to all the bars, like in this whole corner of the state. It's a big company, and they were like to me and Sketty, my co-host. They're like, "What beer do you want like to be your sponsor?" And we were like, "Busch Light," and they're like, really? We're like, yeah, absolutely. Matt, you're doing it wrong. Matt Brugger says you can drink 30 and feel nothing. You're doing it wrong.
Yeah, I don't know.
Somehow. You get the one. Yeah. Don't buy the cans that say Busch Light with the NA on them. They can't say NA.
Dude, I don't care who you are. If you drink 30 beers, dude.
Yeah, you're feeling it.
Beer. No, you're freaking feeling it. Dude,
You're falling asleep doing podcasts if you drink 30 beers.
Yeah, I don't care what anyone says. Light beer still gets you drunk. But I'm not a big fan of Busch Light. But they sent me. I shouldn't. I didn't mean to say that like you're a sponsor or whatever. But it's just not what I drink. But they sent me a nice package. They sent me. There's a few. I forget. It was like their fall beer, whatever they have. But they sent me a hat.
Busch Light Apple.
Stuff. Yeah, it was a Busch Light Apple.
Yeah. We had that case up here when we were promoting that. They just. Like whatever their new cases come out, we get a few of them, and I put one up here, and then when they give me the next one, this one goes into the fridge, and I drink
rotate.
it. Yeah,
rotate that.
It's a beautiful thing. And they also give us $2,000 toward their catalog to spend. So we're actually coming up. So this is a little plug for my own show. Sorry, Matt.
Oh, go for it.
But we just ordered Busch Light cornhole boards that we're going to be doing a giveaway on the page. I'm not sure exactly how we're going to do it yet. We haven't come up with the scheme, but we have the prizes are coming. So we're going to be doing that here relatively soon. I'm not sure exactly when, but
that's cool. Yeah, I think it's cool being sponsored by a beer. I was trying to get Spotted Cow to sponsor me. I don't think they need me though. They're like, no, they're already buying it, bud. They don't need
you drink a lot of like the IPA, like you like that stuff, don't you?
No, I just Spotted Cow because like I don't drink many different types of beer. I drink like if I'm chilling out, I'm with my wife or whatever. A lot of times it's Coors Light, but mostly I drink Spotted Cow. But it's basically Spotted Cow or Coors Light. Like I don't really get too deep into drinking. I know that people are like, you gotta try this, you gotta try that. Like I have no taste for like. There's one brewery
that's local to where I live. It's called Bent Run, and they do a beer called Common Man, and that is supposed to be like as close to Busch Light, Miller Light, Bud Light as they can get, and it's good. I can actually drink that one like no problem. But like you get into the different stouts and all that, like fancy, like where the beer snobs, are like doing this, like sipping their IPAs. I just can't. No, give me a plain Jane.
Yeah, yeah. I'm a simple man, but this is funny because Kevin is. I knew him in high school. You were 20 months deep back in the day because he used to like be the designated driver. We'd puke all over his van, like puke on the outside. We had to go through a car wash, so because it wasn't his van, it was his parents' van. And but Kevin, got us.
Kevin, you're a good man.
Got us home safe. He wasn't a drinker. That's
good.
Why he's doing better in life than the rest of us.
Yeah, it's probably true. Gonna live longer. My wife's favorite Matt Ramage story is the night you fell asleep doing a podcast.
Yeah. No, I don't think it was. I was live, but it wasn't a podcast. But it was like
okay. You're just doing a Facebook Live.
Yeah, because before I started podcasting, I would just I'd get live. I think I did podcast then, but this wasn't one. And we were just lit, like me and my wife, and she went to bed. And then I was like, I'm gonna stay up. And then like I don't know what happened because I don't remember. And I woke up the next day and my wife's like, hey, delete that live. You were live last night. And she's like reading the comments and stuff.
And people were like getting ready to call the police to do a welfare check on you.
People in the comments were freaking out. Oh my God, someone call 911. And they're like, it's fine. He's from Wisconsin. See, like what it was, I was just because I have a bar in my basement. Like, I mean, it's not a fancy bar, it's just like a basement bar, like a legit basement with no ceiling, And I was just leaned up against the wall. Just I don't know how I wasn't falling. People were texting me because people I work with were watching it. So that was the worst part because I went into work and like everyone was talking about it. It had like 200 comments, and at that time that was a lot because I didn't have as many followers then. And dude, it was like just like I was like everyone thinks I'm an alcoholic. I mean, kind of people still do sometimes. I get messages from people, but it was funny, but. Also quite embarrassing because like everyone saw and like people like I looked at my phone, people were texting me like trying to like wake me up, like missed calls and stuff. And it was in the middle of the night, so it was funny that people even seen it. A lot of people in work were like, I just happened to open Facebook and there you were just sleeping against the wall.
When you told that story on my show, my wife like the next day was like, that Ramage story was hilarious. Like she was dying. She just like imagine because that's all I'm doing is like picturing it in my head and like people in the comments just being like, is he dead? Like holy shit, this is bad.
He's just stiffed up.
Like I think I heard him. I think I heard him breathe. And
then every now and again, like all right, we got.
He's good.
Got some breaths here. He's about to go down though. But all right, we'll wrap this thing. I appreciate everyone watching. Be sure to follow Beehive Sports Podcast. You can find it on Facebook. You're obviously YouTube. You got the podcast Twitter, on everywhere that you listen to podcasts. Yeah, go check him out. He's worth it.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
All right, we out this thing, people. Thanks for tuning in. And yeah, that's about all that does. You know what I mean? Go Pack Go and Bills Mafia in the
Thanks building. For having me. Thank you to everybody who joined us.
For sure.